Coke Machine for Real Fishing, December 19th, 2022. If you like the Nipissing ice reports, don't forget to hit the thumbs up right away. It's -8 right now. It was actually -6 overnight and then started to cool down into the morning. And it's gonna cool down even more towards the end of the day. So that bodes well for freezing. Now I checked the weather report and it looks like we're gonna get rain and snow by the end of the week. Now, of course, that can change at any moment. You know how the weather reports are. Anyway, I'm not gonna be actually measuring the ice myself today because I put in some extra time flying my drone out there to check out what these patches are, to see if they're actually wet patches or if it's just ice that has had the snow blown off. However, I have gotten a few measurements from a few different people, so I'll be reading you off those measurements instead of measuring myself. But tomorrow, I'm planning on putting on my floater suit with all the gear and walking out there a little bit to measure a little bit more ice. We'll see how it goes though, because this time of year is kind of a dicey time of year. The ice is just on there recently, and in one spot you might have 5 inches, in another spot you might have 2 inches. That's exactly the kind of reports I've been receiving from other people around the lake. At this critical time of year, it is really important to be wearing your safety gear when you're out on the ice. Now you'll notice the last couple of days that I was measuring ice, I didn't have my float suit on. I was also at a beach that was about a foot deep. In fact, I'm pretty sure I drilled into the sand when I was at Marathon Beach there. So I wasn't too worried about needing to float because I figured I'd be standing if I ended up falling through. However, the next time I walk out into any amount of water beyond up to my knees, I'll definitely have my float suit on with my ice spikes and of course my spud bar. Trusty spud bar. So I'm going to read to you the reports I've got from other people around the lake here. So I received an email from ZZZ Angler, aka Mark Zulinski. He says, "Hey Coke Machine, just a little update from the South Shore. I walked out about 200 meters and drilled a few holes to take some ice measurements. It varied between 5.5 and 6.5 inches of dark clear ice with a couple of inches of wet snow on top. Forecast is for some colder weather, so things are looking promising." I included a few photos as well. He's got a picture of his tape measure and a shot of North Bay. So I received a video from Bernie Giesler. He walked out and measured almost 5 inches in Hunter's Bay. There was an inch of slushy snow on top, and he measured it all using this uniquely modified measuring tape, which I thought was pretty nifty. Another dude by the name of Mark Wolf posted in the Lake Nipissing ice fishing board on Facebook. He said, "I did a recon of the ice conditions at Sunset Point today. I drove down the boat ramp and onto the lake with my truck. No, I'm not crazy. The lake at that end of the ramp always freezes right to the bottom. I walked out about 100 meters. There was 4 inches of good ice under 3 inches of snow covering. A bit of slush under the snow in the bay, but out 200 to 300 meters, the lake was windswept down to bare ice, which will be great for making ice when the temperatures drop later this week. It's looking good for the January 1st opener." I thought it was funny that Mark decided to park his truck on the ice because at this time of year especially, the Sunset Point parking lot is empty. so you know, why bother parking on the ice if you just park, 20 feet away? Anyway, man made his choices and he got out of there, so good on him. I also received a bit of a concerning message from a guy named Jasper Chevier. He measured 2 inches off the end of the government dock in North Bay and 2 inches on Sunset Point 100 feet off of the end of the rocks. This is the kind of report that gives me the willies. Here's why. I was at the government dock in North Bay and I measured 5 to 6 inches out there. So he probably wasn't that far away from where I was, and he's measuring 2 inches. So that makes me a little bit scared. I want everybody to think solidly about the fact that this ice just formed and it's going to be varying all over the place. You have to use extreme caution this time of year. I would not be walking out on 2 inches of ice, even with my floater suit on. I really don't want to go for a polar bear swim by surprise. That's not what I want to do. So, people going out on the lake there, please be careful. 6 inches where I measure, or 6 inches where ZZZ Angler measures, you're not going to find that everywhere. and probably a little bit further out, it's probably a little bit thinner. So be careful. But thanks for the report, Jasper, and it helps to emphasize the fact that this lake is not all uniformly freezing. Looking back at historical measurements, on December 19th, 2021, it was -16 overnight. I was seeing ice. There was a huge ice pack that had bunched up on the shore from a recent warm-up. December 19th, 2020, 5 inches of black ice. December 19th, 2019, it was -26. There was 10 inches of ice 60 yards out. That was a great year for making ice. 2017, it was +1 and had this freezing mist with 6.5 inches of ice. So I'm hoping you guys can help me out with this problem I have. Last year, I ordered up all of these I cook with ice hats. And although I sold a bunch of them, I still have so many of them that they are severely impeding my existence at the moment. I go to get a fork out of the drawer. What do I find in the drawer? Hats. I go to get a can of beans out of the pantry. What do I find instead of beans? I find hats, okay? I'm in the store. I go to buy myself something nice to ease my woes. I reach into my pocket to get my wallet, and it's those freaking hats again, all right? I'm selling them for $23, shipping included. I will vacuum seal that hat and get it into an envelope so small it fits right into your mailbox. No problem. Just send me a message at forrealfishing@gmail.com and I will mail you that hat, and then it'll be out of my life and I can forget all about it. So $23, shipping included. Send me a message at forrealfishing@gmail.com. I'm sending them out personally. I'll even write you a little note. Dear so-and-so, thank you so much for removing this item from my personal space so I have a little bit more room to breathe. Thank you. And plus, it says I cook with ice, and it's a hat that you can wear on your head, and it's lucky. I didn't tell you that. It's lucky. So, talk to you guys soon. We'll do more updates tomorrow.